What's up, guys? Part-time gamer dad here, and today I want to give you a quick rundown of all of the wrestling YouTubers I think you should follow. So kicking things off, I gotta go with one of the OGs of YouTube content that I used to take in all the time, which is Steven Larson, and there's a couple places you can check them out. There's WrestleJuice, which is Steve's solo channel, which has been like a breath of fresh air in the wrestling YouTube community lately. And then also Friendo Club Wrestling, which is what he does with Larson. I love just watching their videos all the time, all of the wrestling what ifs and hot takes and just all the commentary and insight that Steve is able to bring on WrestleJuice. I just started interacting with his community more and like giving some thoughts that I have, but he's a lot of fun. And like me, like, you know, they're older, so I connect with them on that front. I followed them a lot when they did 10 for the Win on Machinima and a lot of stuff, and just to see them over the course of all these years later talking about wrestling, like, I love it, and I cannot recommend them enough. So go check out WrestleJuice and Friendo Club Wrestling. Another OG of the wrestling YouTube community is Wrestling with Regret, Brian Zane, who does, my favorite thing he does is the retro pay-per-view reviews, classic pay-per-view reviews. Kind of giving the context of everything leading up to these pay-per-views that you may have seen or may not have seen, and kind of giving like his star ratings on what happened throughout the course of the pay-per-view. Obviously, he does a lot of top eights, like best of and worst of. And if he likes a content creator who has a lot of content over a course of a lot of years, and kind of gets to see like how he's evolved and grown over the course of time, Wrestling with Regret is a great one to start with. Sticking with the vein of somebody who does a lot of like retro reviews and kind of look backs, you got to go to check out Wrestling Bios and their Monday Night War review, Reliving the War. I haven't watched it in a little while just because there's so much content in just that series alone. I'm still probably like 20-30 episodes behind, not including all of the pay-per-views he's reviewed over the course of time. But like in terms of funny jokes that are consistent and really educational, but not like going off on a bunny trail, insight on what was happening with the product at the time, and just giving his own insight on like how he feels about it. Wrestling Bios is one of my favorite channels out there, and Reliving the War is probably like beat for beat the best wrestling series out there. So go check out Wrestling Bios, and make sure if you don't check out any of his other content, start with episode 1 of Reliving the War and watch up until where he's at now. You've got a lot to catch up on, but it is well worth your time. Kind of pivoting for a second, I want to talk about some of my favorite wrestling gaming YouTubers. So Macho T, Lock DM, Dank Ops, you have Vibe. All of those channels are just so consistent and so much fun. Locke hasn't uploaded in a month. What's going on, Locke? Come on, man. I know you're streaming some 2K24, but I miss like your YouTube content, man. It's really fun. These guys are all unique and bring a specific kind of energy to their videos that is so fun and it's so engaging, and you're always cheering them on. They're not little YouTubers by any means. Dank, Chris Danger has a lot of subscribers, as do a few of those other guys. But when you get to see somebody like Lock DM, who I think I started subbing to him when he was under 5,000 subscribers, to see where he's at now at 30,000, like less than 6 months. Just awesome to see that growth, and see him collab with people like BDE, who we'll get to later, is really fun. And of course, Vibe has a lot of personalities coming in and out, and a lot of cross collab, which I really love. So make sure you check all those guys out as well. Now we're going to get into the fun channels, and I'm gonna start off with Stash Club Wrestling. John and Dante, I could watch your videos every day of the week. They do a lot of quizzes, and there's like merch I wish I had, like Sweep City merch and all that kind of stuff. But just two dudes who are obviously friends, who love wrestling, who love talking about wrestling, who like getting quizzed on wrestling, who have started to integrate themselves into their local wrestling scene and work with a local promotion there. They're just so fun, and I mean they're slightly younger than myself, so there's a lot of just like fun things, and their energy is really something I align with. Well, just like their energy and like what they bring to videos and the things that they're doing, the content they're producing, it's so much fun, and I love taking part with those quizzes along the way. I love to be competing against them sometime because it actually beat them a lot of the time. Dante and I would be we're kindred spirits, bro. And I would love to collab with those guys. I love to collab with all these people, but like Stash Club, I think I'll shave off my beard. I'll make my wife mad. I'll do a stash. But yeah, those guys are a lot of fun. And I think that they bring such a void that we were missing, which was the consistent uploads of like wrestling trivia and quizzes, which is just a really good time. Speaking of like a group of guys who are just really fun, Cultaholic, I've been following them since way back when they were somewhere else. And the variety of content they bring out and just the joy that they have for wrestling, even when they've been doing like, you know, character scripted stuff where like Adam was like the evil boss and there's Money in the Bank briefcases and they do the predictions. Like I love all their stuff. I've been subscribed to them since the get-go, and I cannot say enough good things about Cultaholic. I think we went to this, I saw them at a WrestleMania once that I went to, and I kind of wish I'd worked up the courage to go say hi, just because they're such pleasant guys from everything I hear and everything I see. And if you like a variety of wrestling content, they're a really good one to go for. Also, another good one to go for in terms of variety of wrestling content is Wrestle Talk. And I'm going to throw Parts Unknown into there. They do so much stuff. Parts Unknown is kind of like Tempest's channel. Tempest, if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. But a lot of stuff that he produces over there is really fun, like Survival Series, which I always feel like I'm going to crush it. And sometimes I do, but sometimes I'm like, oh man, I wish I was actually on there so I could like really test myself. And then of course, all the stuff on Wrestle Talk, like, you know, predicting in 3 words or less, tables, lists, and chairs. I can't remember what channels. There's so much like cross-pollination of personalities. Like there's so much good content on Wrestle Talk and Parts Unknown. And all these guys, including Cultaholic, like they're all in the UK. And to see just like the wrestling love flourish in like all these other parts of the world makes me feel connected, and like they're not seas away, that they're just right next door hanging out. And I love that vibe. I love that energy. So make sure you check out Wrestle Talk and Parts Unknown as well. One more that you might think I forgot with the wrestling gaming content that I didn't is Murphs. The reason I kept him separate is Murphs is not a gaming YouTuber. Murphs is a storyteller. If you love to hear like some booking ideas in the context of utilizing 2K games as the format that the story is communicated, you have to check out Murphs. He is a brilliant genius. I don't know how he gets half of these like setups for his stories and for all of the capture he does on the video games, but his storytelling and the way he books is incredible. He should be hired by WWE. I mean, half of the stories he puts out, I'm like, I could see that happening and it should happen. And then obviously it doesn't happen because they have a different idea, but he's booking like a year in advance from now, like the Bloodline storyline. And it makes sense. And I could see the Bloodline storyline continuing that way if that's how they went. And so if you haven't seen Murphs, check him out. Go watch all of his like booking people to be heels and faces and winning titles and losing titles and leaving factions and coming back and creating new like there's so much good stuff out there. Check out Murphs today, dude. He's so good. This next one, so I love humor. I love a fun YouTuber who's maybe a little crass, and Markety, he is just that, man. He does a lot of like older show reviews, very similar to like what Wrestling with Regret does, but he'll go and find like the worst Nitro or the worst Raw or the worst pay-per-view and let the fans tell him what to go watch. He's done a lot of TNA Impact content, which is really underappreciated on YouTube. I grew up like in the golden era of TNA, like watching it, and I appreciate all the stuff he's done there. And he kind of looks at like particular wrestlers and their career throughout an organization. So he just did one on Bobby or Robert Roode throughout his TNA career, which was a really good retrospective, and it was like 20 minutes. So you're committing to maybe 20 or 30 minutes at most, but giving you some really good insight and backstory on some of these wrestlers that we love today. Like, where were they 5-6 years ago? Watching Lucha Underground and seeing like Ray's career in there took me back because I loved Lucha Underground when it was around. But there's always like all this particular kind of humor in there that's great. And he has a running feud with Jeff Jarrett, which is just the best. So make sure you check out Marky D. So these last two, I'm actually going to say they're my top two, and for different reasons. One of them is somebody that I feel like is looking in a mirror, not with the hair, but like everything else. And that's Mr. Santi's app. And Santi makes a lot of the content that I love to like talk about myself. And so there's a lot of videos that he has done that I've kind of done similar versions of, like not intentionally, but like it's just the same kind of stuff that we love to talk about. And then he's also just one of the fastest growing YouTubers on the platform, not just in wrestling, I feel, but like all the way around. He just hit 200,000 subs in like less than a year on being YouTube. So congrats, Santi. Super happy for you, man. Super proud of you. Been around since you were on TikTok. Love you, man. I think you're great. We'll love to collab with you sometime. We'll love to collab with both these guys. If you're not subscribed to the channel, you can help us maybe collab with these guys by subbing to the channel. We're almost at 2,000 subscribers. And I think Santi just also brings like such a love and passion for wrestling. That's what I love about him, is like it just oozes. That's all he thinks about and all he talks about. And I really love that. So Santi, he's like 1A, 1B, and the other 1A, 1B is BDE. Brandon does everything, and Brandon really does everything. He's one of the inspirations to me to be a YouTuber, as is Santi. Both these guys are people who bring such energy and love for wrestling, but Brandon literally does everything. He does gaming stuff, and he does community stuff with Reddits, and he does a lot of like fan interactions, and he just really is such a great individual and a great person, and how he brings everyone around him up. You can just see that even when you're watching like vibe videos and stuff. And so I've always really had a love and appreciation for him, admiration of both these guys. If you're gonna ask me who like my top two wrestling YouTubers are, it's gonna be Mr. Santi's app, Brandon Collins, BDE. So you guys keep doing what you're doing, and if you have not watched any of these guys' contents and you're a wrestling YouTube fan, number one, what are you doing? Number two, even if you're not a wrestling YouTuber fan, if you like wrestling, go check these guys out. They're incredible. I cannot say enough good things about them, so go subscribe to them today. All right, guys, those are all of the wrestling YouTubers I think you should check out. I know I missed somebody, so let me know in the comments below who I missed. Let me know who you're watching, who you love. If any of these guys are people that you watch frequently and that you love listening to about wrestling. Yeah, like I said, if you like wrestling, you like gaming, you like the occasional parent humor, make sure that you subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it. We're on the road to 2,000 subscribers, hoping to get there before WrestleMania in just a couple weeks. And let me know down below some videos that you'd like to see. We'll make sure we do them, and I will see you very soon.